I'd like to welcome our special guest today. Put your hands together for, all the way from Raw, if I can say any more, Mr. B-Boy Willastr8. Yay! What up, Willastr8? What's up, brother? Thank you. Thank you for coming through.
Thank you.
Man, let's pour you some Black Douglas.
Thank you.
Black Douglas. Yes. Thank you for coming to the show, bro.
Thank you for having me. Pleasure to be here.
Oh, yes. Well, we had to, get you here to talk about originality.
Would love to.
Let's talk about originality, shall we?
Let's do it.
What up, brother? How you doing, man? Originality. What is originality in terms of b-boying, brother?
Yeah. Originality, as far as I'm concerned, and again, I can summarize this quickly. At the end of the day, I mean, we all have our own personality, as far as I'm concerned. So originality, it's not about a b-boy just doing some tricked out moves, doing some form of abstract style, like really trying to divert away from the very essence of this b-boy culture. I think it's just ultimately an expression of your personality.
Word, man.
So, I mean, and
like the revealing.
Yeah, the revealing of your personality. Do you know what I mean? Because personalities take a long time to form.
To mature.
To develop. Do you know what I mean?
Word.
And people take a little bit of time to kind of recognize what kind of person they are. And I'm not talking about insecurities that can hold certain people back.
Yeah.
Or everyone for that matter. I believe everyone has insecurities, but just taking certain traits, of who you are as an individual, in terms of how you've been created, and expressing that and revealing that non-verbally through the dance.
Yo, what was that thing you mentioned earlier on? Non-verbal communication.
Non-verbal communication. I mean, I think, some people have poker faces and you can't really tell what they're thinking, but there's no way of having a poker face when you break, as far as I'm concerned, because as soon as someone gets down, do you know what I mean? And when I say get down, like it could just be dancing on top.
Yeah.
It should speak volumes of who they are, or at least speak in part about who they are as an individual. You know what I mean? And I think it takes a very long time for that to be made manifest as a b-boy, because as we mature as human beings,
yes,
so will our dance mature, do you know what I mean?
Yes.
And be solidified, but continue to change and develop and be manipulated by our experiences in life, not the least of which include our experiences in this culture.
Word.
I mean, look, I'm speaking strictly on my experiences, and at the end of the day, like, this is just my opinion. So this is what it means to me.
Yeah.
When we talk about originality, now, I've been told, oh, Will, you've got original moves and blah blah blah, but I think the moves themselves are irrelevant. You know what I mean?
Why is that?
Because anyone can learn a move.
True.
Anyone can, but a lot of people can come up with an individual idea, and that's fine. But where are you going to take that idea, and what is the intricate and the intrinsic meaning behind that idea? Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So from a b-boy standpoint, it's like, okay, how does this one move fit in with my style of breaking? Do you know what I mean? Like, how can I convey some kind of message, with what I'm doing here?
Right.
And, you like Casper. So shout outs to Casper and Smurf, B-Boy News.
B-Boy News, what's up?
I mean, Casper talks a lot about the character, how and again, like, I can be corrected on this, but the idea of having a real character, expressed or revealed through your dance is almost lost, and you talk a lot about this as well. And Lego uses the term the art of b-boy storytelling, and I think that a move is irrelevant because everything that you're doing should be telling a story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
A revealing of your personality.
And it's hard to articulate, but I think that when I train, or it's not even training, like, the way that I think about dancing these days is that everything should have a purpose because you're conveying a message. So that, look, in a nutshell, I know I'm giving a little bit of a convoluted response, but...
No, we got time.
Yeah, like originality as far as I'm concerned, is being yourself.
Yeah.
Bottom line.
Right.
Being yourself.
Right.
And it's not about the moves.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It's about being yourself.
It's about being yourself, but at the same time, there is a certain foundation that needs to be respected.
Yes.
And in my own experience, that's something that I had to go back to. Do you know what I mean? Because I didn't respect that foundation at all.
Right.
Early on in my journey. I just wanted to jump straight to doing weird stuff.
Right. So that's why you mentioned that right at the beginning. Something about like strange. It's not strange moves at all. Right. Strong. This stuff. Yeah. Cheers, bro. We didn't even.
Bro.
Cheers. Yeah. Cheers to that word. Right. So it's not about strange moves then. Well, what is it about? Then, what gives people the idea that being original is just having like weird and strange, obscure, abstract movements? Because
maybe it looks different. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's kind of like...
And it's a novelty, but all novelties wear off eventually.
Right, so it's kind of like a shallow understanding or comprehension of what being original means.
I believe so. I think it's a misconception. Do you know what I mean?
Nosebleed. By the way, the oh yeah, thank you for doing that appropriately for us. There's a camera over here if you want to look at people in the eye. Feel free to speak, guys. It's all good. Yeah, we're good.
So yeah, I think the crazy moves wear off eventually. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Because in every generation, I believe there's a few guys who come along and just kind of really push the athletic boundaries. But then there's someone else who comes along and takes it a little bit further, and that ain't easy to do. And I'm not taking away from the sheer athleticism and the training and the skills required to take certain moves to the next level.
Yeah.
But when we're talking about doing crazy stuff, or originals, really peculiar movements rather.
Yeah.
Yes, they may very well be original, don't get me wrong, but I think originality as an ideology goes much further than that. It's a lot broader, do you know what I mean? And, I consider b-boys such as yourself to be exceptionally original, do you know what I mean? Even though you and I break nothing alike whatsoever, for the most part.
Right.
And I believe that firmly because at the end of the day, I can see your personality being made abundantly clear to me as I observe every time you get down. And it's straightforward. Do you know what I mean? It's very simple. And, a lot of that comes, I believe, or stems from, how you like to take on different personas. Do you know what I mean?
Hey.
Different character, like the Spider-Man analogy that you told me about. I mean, I don't know if you want to elaborate on that. I'm kind of like... I'm the guy interviewing you.
Yeah, no, that's cool, man. Like, totally hijacked the show. That's what old school fuckwits do. What, as in the one that I mentioned about...
Just destructive steps. When Zulu battled Leadmos.
Leadmos.
You guys, you took him in a tiebreaker. Didn't need a tiebreaker, by the way. Should have won without it, man. I'm just going to say it straight up.
He said it, man, straight up. I'm not saying anything.
Man. Judges, yo.
Who was the end?
No, it wasn't the end. You had the dude with the bucket hat.
Yeah.
I don't know his name.
No, but the power move was at the end, right?
The end was the power move, man. And the end's freaking...
Yeah, he's
ridiculous.
He's bananas, that dude. But remember, Katsu came out and then the end came out after him.
Yes.
And then, so he ripped this mad power set. And I was like, yo, how am I going to step to that? Even though technically it was the beginning of my next round. I was sending out the question.
And for those of you who want to check out the footage, it's Destructive Steps 2 years ago?
2014.
14, you entered as Zulu Kings, right?
No, I think it was MZ Carls.
Yeah, MZ Carls against
Leadmos Gamblers, yeah.
First round,
And, there's a whole nother backstory to that event, but maybe we'll just go straight from Spider-Man on the topic of originality, yeah? This guy just done the craziest high-tech one-arm power move set you've ever seen in your life. all the fanboys in the crowd were fucking jizz in their pants. There was just like crazy screams and shouts from the crowd. And I'm like, there's no way I'm gonna topple that in terms of skills. But let me use some theatrics, let me use some character to go and smash this dude, you know?
Trump him, yeah.
To trump him, like I'm in a battle, I'm representing my country, I'm representing my crews, I'm representing my city, and it's like, there's no way this fucking powerhouse is gonna come in and try and take things from us without a fight. So I ran towards the judges and I made it clearly animated, yeah? And I was going, this little thing I'm about to do is nothing compared to the skill level that the end has, but I'm gonna do it like it's everything I've got, you know? The only thing I've got, it's like my fucking trump card, yeah? And I go down and I do the Spider-Man move and I shoot the web right out into the middle of the dance floor, yeah? And then I run and I jump up with my legs in the air, you know, like a Tarzan swing, like Spider-Man would catch his web and Tarzan through the buildings. That was my entry just to like smother
And
everyone's memory.
He's not exaggerating either. Like, we'll check the footage, man.
If we can edit it, we'll put it here. But
we can throw it in, but I mean, like, that's exactly what happened.
And that's it, you know, like I was thinking that I was Spider-Man and fearlessly, even though I was scared as fuck, you know, this dude's lead moss, these dudes are like...
Gamblers, man, yeah. Like,
they're
down a long
international
time.
champions. I was coming in as Spider-Man straight into the fucking Predator's mouth, you know? And I guess, you know, like, that's... Maybe you can reiterate on, like, you can expand on that idea of, like, okay, originality through character, personality.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like, what you just explained to me, like, kind of entering the cipher, you know, like, under those conditions, you know what I mean, like, taking on that persona, or, you know, like, being a different character, do you know what I mean, which is, you know, essentially, like, you're not acting per se, but, you know, there's some real theatrics behind it. Like, I can't do that. You know, like, that's not in my personality. So for me, if I tried to behave that way, do you know what I mean? To respond to another b-boy that way in a battle, for example, whether it's a cypher or a competition, I know I'm not being myself. Do you know what I mean? So whilst that could be perceived as originality, do you know what I mean? Or being a character, or however you want to interpret it. I think, you know, if it's me who's actually, you know, acting that way, it could be further from the truth, because I'm not being myself. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's not how I approach the dance. That's not how I'm going to respond to someone under those circumstances. So it comes back, as far as I'm concerned, to just being yourself as a dancer. Do you know what I mean? You know, and a lot of that is essentially your personality being made manifest through how you react to the music, how you piece together various movement patterns. Do you know what I mean? How you enter the cipher, how you exit it. Do you know what I mean? Your battle etiquette, or lack thereof, even. Do you know what I mean? These are variables. Do you know what I mean? That I believe should be consistent with who you are as an individual. If you're hyper-aggressive during a battle, but you're putting it on, do you know what I mean? Because you've seen some cats from France or the US become really heated when they battle, and it's entertaining, well, ultimately you're not being yourself. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Now, I know I can become hyper-aggressive in battles because... you know, I'm you know, and I've pissed some people off, but I'm actually being myself, because that environment is a place for me to pour out all of those emotions which I would otherwise repress, you know, day to day, whether it's in a work environment and so on and so forth. Now, I'm liberated under those circumstances.
Yes.
Now, if I can simultaneously run my moves, do you know what I mean?
Yes.
With that emotion on board.
Yes.
Again, coming back to originality, I'm being myself.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? So it's not like, oh, Willastr8, you know, you created some freaking thread on your ankle, do you know what I mean? Or you're doing this, you're doing that. No, because these are just the moves. And everything that I'm doing, whether they're perceived as being original or not, okay, they have they come from sources of inspiration, and a lot of those sources of inspiration are other dancers. Do you know what I mean? That I grew up watching. So I have to give credit where credit is due.
Respect.
And I can't say that I'm an original b-boy from the point of view that all of my moves are just like the first, because that's what originality means in scientific research. If you discover something, or if you reveal something for the first time, it's classified as being original research because it is the first to demonstrate something in the human body or something in cells, tissues, etc., etc. Original, the first. It may be on the back of something else.
Yes.
But if you, for example, discover a chemical in the brain that's associated with some kind of disease, that's an original finding. It is number one.
Wow.
So I can't say that I'm an original b-boy because that's actually against the definition of what originality truly is.
True.
Okay, if we're talking strictly about moves, but there's only one Willastr8 human being. There's only one Lama.
Yes.
So if you are being who you are in this world as a dancer, then the moves will speak for themselves. And the battle etiquette, and the personality, and how you engage, with other dancers in ciphers and everything else, as far as I'm concerned, that is originality.
Right.
Now, if we are just strictly talking about moves, okay, that doesn't give you a free pass to hijack stuff, and when I'm saying stuff, I'm talking about like movement patterns, whatever, that other dancers have spent years developing.
Yes.
So I'm not suggesting that, okay, well, if it ain't about the moves, then we can just do whatever we want. No. Because, again, we mature over many years as human beings in our relationships, in our marriages, in our whatever, right? Okay? In the workplace, etc., etc. So as b-boys, as we mature, so will our style of breaking. Do you know what I mean? That we adopt. We adopt it because we didn't have ownership over it to begin with. We adopt it because what we're doing will be sourced from elsewhere, other dancers. Do you know what I mean? Music, being a musician, etc., etc. Okay, it's all going to be case by case. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly right.
Context specific. But I do believe it's very important that we take the time to develop our craft.
Yes. It's funny you say that.
As artists, because you don't just pick up a brush
Yep.
and start painting like Picasso. And Picasso had a very distinct style, but no doubt he had his sources of inspiration if he was still here today. Do you know what I mean? So what you do on the floor, from up top to the floor and back up again, should be distinct.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
You said it.
It doesn't have to be weird. And so for b-boys who are trying to understand what originality is all about, what I'm trying to say doesn't, I believe, give young dancers, or any dancer for that matter, a free pass to just hijack someone else's steez. Because, as you've said it to me, and I believe, it's intellectual property.
Exactly. And that's
a lot of time that you've invested into your craft, and it takes years. It really does.
It does.
So it's easy to say be yourself, but it's actually hard to do.
Yes. I agree 100%, man. And I think that the hijacking and the true, I guess it's just a different time. It's a different era now, and you can't. It's pretty strong, isn't it? It's the black door blush. It's rough. Is that you would have got the beat down back in the day. Yeah? Like, dudes would arc up, even as late as when we started, yeah? Like 98,
Yeah, I got dissed hard as well.
Right.
When I was young, because I came up with a bunch of moves that I thought, I came up with, and I think it might have been Ada from $7.
Or Ada.
Who called me out on it, because there was an old VHS tape.
Yeah.
Might have been like Alpha Fame or Mighty 4.
Yep.
One of those, like from the West Coast in the States.
Yep.
And on that tape, there were about 3 or 4 moves that I was doing at that time. Now, in my defense, I'd never seen the tape. And I used that as defense, but they were like, it doesn't matter, man.
No.
It doesn't matter because you're doing stuff that's being done and you're claiming it, for your own. You've got to flip that.
Yes.
So even though I didn't straight chomp the move, do you know what I mean? Like, the fact that I was doing it exactly the same as some other cats meant that, the etiquette was, well, why are you going to do something like someone else? Why are you going to break the same?
That's it.
You know?
Yeah.
So the onus was on you to come up with something which was unique.
Yes.
And it's only inevitable that someone else out there is doing it just like you. And that's all good. I get that.
Yeah.
You know? But if you're aware that you're doing something and someone took the time to develop that particular move well before you, do you know what I mean? I think it was important that you built upon that.
Yes.
And didn't get complacent.
Yes.
You know, complacent to the extent that, oh, well, you know, I didn't buy it, so it doesn't matter.
Yes.
It's all good. But why
Yes.
would you want to do the same thing as someone else?
Exactly right, man.
Like, is that what it's come to, you know?
That's
like,
exactly
we're
it.
just content, like
Yes.
rolling with the punches.
Yeah.
So I never, if I saw footage of someone doing, you know, some similar moves to me, and let's just say, like, this is an established dancer, you know, whomever. I didn't want to keep doing that move that way. You know, I wanted to do it my way. Even though I thought I came up with it. So, well, hang on, I didn't.
Yeah.
And this dude's rocking it. And chances are, if I go to a jam and throw that down, I'm going to be called a biter on.
Yes.
And I can't just get up and say, oh, no, I never saw this cat. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, doesn't matter.
So you got to flip that.
Yes.
You know, that's what I firmly believe. That's what I learned the hard way. I got dissed hard. And that's fine, like, because, like, tough love
is something.
the way to go.
Yeah,
sometimes.
tough love is.
You know, it's the only way it works for me.
It's definitely something that is, I think, a lot more required.
Oh, especially
in today's
today,
day
man. But it's
and age.
dangerous because, you know, people, generations are getting soft.
It's a bit
you know?
it's a bit misconstrued.
But it's not their fault because, you know, the social media environment sets a lot of young kids up to be absolutely brutalized by the world because, you know, they rely on the approval of others, and these social media platforms have been put in place, not by them. And then the older generations sit back and say, oh, they're narcissistic, they're this, they're that, but you created this crap for them to be a realm for them to be narcissistic in. So tough love works, but I think we can't be, you know, you and I are old school,
Old school fuckwits.
But at the same time, you know, we don't have to be those grumpy old dudes who like rock up after a 10-year hiatus and start pointing the finger at like young cats. Nah, man, that's not how you build a new generation up.
Exactly.
You know, there's ways to be tough on people, but at the same time build them up. Because are you going to be constructive or destructive?
Yes.
And I want to see more dancers, not, you know, and I'm just going to say straight up, like I see a lot of young dancers, I'm not naming names, I'm not pointing fingers, and it's not necessarily their fault perhaps, content doing stuff that has been done or someone is currently doing it. And because it's a common, I'm not talking about windmills and, you know, like basic foundation, which isn't necessarily basic. I still find it hard, but you know what I mean.
I know what you're talking
I'm not talking about like, you know, moves that should be in your freaking toolbox. I'm talking about like more complicated transitions, freezes, power moves, etc.
Yes.
You know, that has a certain level of intricacy to it. Well, look, breaking is intricate, period. But you know what I mean? Like there's a bit more edge to it.
Yeah.
Actually, that's the wrong word, because foundation has edge. But you see
I know
right.
what you're saying. You know, if any...
And they're content doing it because, oh, well, you know, it's no longer considered to be a bite.
Yeah.
But let's like talk about like the juice flare. You know?
Yes, alright.
Like,
So
who was the first cat who ripped that?
Juice Boogie.
No, who ripped it first?
Oh, who ripped it? I reckon it was I hate.
Someone said it was
from
one of the
France.
cats from Pokemon.
Yeah, it was probably Rodolphe or Ibrahim.
Yeah. No, it's all good. Like it's stock standard now, but let's be real. It's the juice flare.
It's the juice flare.
Now, if someone came out and did that today, I'm not going to throw the bite sign up.
Yeah.
Because it's become commonplace. Like everything has to start somewhere.
Yeah, just like the 6-step was bidden.
Exactly.
Back in the day.
Po 1, air chair.
Yeah.
We all do that, right?
Yeah.
But that's the juice flare. The air chair's Po 1s. You know, the head cartwheel, that's another freaking move that Juice Boogie brought onto the scene.
It's true. The no hands one.
Yeah.
True.
But how many dudes are doing that now?
Everybody.
You know? But let's just say, like, after that move was bitten and a few guys started doing it, like, why wouldn't you want to do it differently? Why would you just want to conform?
Yes.
And so that's what I want to see. I want to see more dancers not being content with just doing good moves, but putting their blueprint on it.
Yes.
You know, injecting their DNA into it.
Yes. Yes.
Like, yeah, learn the move, because the move is the move. The juice flare is the juice flare. You know, like Crumbs, he was what, like the first cat to take from martial arts the head backflip.
Oh yeah, he did.
You know?
That way, yeah.
But then, like, now you've got guys doing freaking head backflip thread. You know what I mean? Like trippy stuff. Like, you know, I don't like complacency, because complacency breeds mediocrity.
Word.
And you know, I'm very passionate about the Australian breaking scene. I don't want us to be mediocre. You know, so if we have a nation, because like, you know, Australians are like, we're renowned for being like larrikins, and you know, we're like, you know, packed with character and this, that, and the other. So why doesn't that come out in our breaking?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree, and I think that's probably where, you know, Fongo deserves his due credit, his props, because he's been that national larrikin for over 10 years now. And
he's been dissed for it too.
Yes.
But he's been true to himself. Yo, Fongo.
Fongo. You know Fongo's got Burmese blood in him.
Yeah.
Anyway, well let's sort of like bring some of this together, yeah? So, like, the idea that when you bite something, you're taking someone's intellectual property. But you can, like, almost, the process of becoming original or more original, let's say, one point of entry, is that you do like this move, right? Like, what's one of your moves? The web.
Well, I like to name a lot of my moves. So my, like one of my classic moves is the Matrix.
The Matrix.
So a lot of the Liverpool Street guys, you know that one. Matrix.
Shout out to Liverpool Street, 1 for 3.
Yo. So that's where I kind of just like, I don't even know how to describe it. I just slide up from the floor and dodge bullets.
Yes.
And then the web sling.
All right. So let's just say Matrix or web slinger, yeah? Let's say someone's inspired, comes in and takes the web slinger, right? If he just took the web slinger, got it nice, probably even imitated, you know, the transitions in and out of the web slinger, even the steps on either side of it, and just keep on breaking like that, we'd all look at this dude and be like, yo, he's a straight up biter, right? But now, if we follow sort of these guidelines that have been in place for more than 2 decades now, of like grabbing a move like that, for example, and then trying to flip it, that brings out the concept that, like, here's something established already, right? And then this dude comes in and chomps that, but he flips it, right? And instead of just blatantly biting and stealing someone's IP, he's made his contribution by turning it into something different.
That's right.
And allowing himself to reveal his personality through this move.
Yes.
And thus expanding the overall, if we're simply talking about moves, overall expanding the universe of that one move.
Yeah. I mean, look, any given move has no end to the amount of permutations that you can tack onto it.
This motherfucker with his fucking words, permutations. That's sick, yeah, permutations,
so the whiskey talking, man.
Whiskey talk, man. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. And to allow that's kind of like, what is it, like a blossoming, like a...
Yeah. You can take whatever you want and take it wherever you want. You know? Like, you know, sometimes that's how I'll session. You know? I don't really see it as like hardcore training. You know, like I'll get down with like a couple of guys and be like, yo, pick a move, pick a transition, pick a freeze, whatever. It can be anything, you know? And just roll with that for like 8 to 10 rounds. Do you know what I mean? And don't even think about what you're doing until you do it.
Yeah.
Because, you know, if you're aware that you've repeated it, then you're gonna, if you've already done it. Do you know what I mean? You're gonna take it somewhere else. Do you know what I mean? Different levels from shoulder, up top, elbow, whatever. Okay, and you can do that with anything. I mean, I remember. I'm just gonna use Fongo as like a great example. I remember he released this freaking windmills video. Did you ever see that?
I don't think I saw that.
So I don't know if it's still on your page, Fongo, but you should bring that back. You had like freaking 30 minutes of you just doing windmill combos. You know, and it's just ridiculous. But like that's an art.
That is an art.
To take one move, you know, and turn it into a language.
Yeah.
And that ain't easy to do, but I think, you know, like Po One will often speak to me about this. If you've done Po One's workshops, I'm pretty certain, you know, he would he would talk a lot about how you can take a move, but then incorporate that into your own vocabulary.
Yes.
And then how you articulate that individual move is up to you.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? You can do whatever you want. So again, like it's more than just a move. It's how you present it. It's how you convey a message. And Lego, I mean, Lego like is one of my earliest inspirations. Legend, and he like his hashtag now is like kind of like his stamp is the art of b-boy storytelling.
Word.
You go back and watch some of those cats like Flipside Kings, Rudy Goblin, Lego. You know, they really put a lot of detail into what they're doing, and that really spoke to me a lot. Like when I was still coming up as a dancer, I'm still coming up as a dancer, but like as a kid, and I was like, okay, that's how I want to break, you know. And it took me a long time to figure it out, you know, and I'm still trying to figure it out. But you know, the art of b-boy storytelling is arguably a lost art, because that goes back to what you were discussing, like being a character. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Like adopting these personalities with like it's like a sub-personality because it's still who you are.
Yeah, right.
Do you know what I mean?
Sub-personality. I like that.
You know, like that's another art.
Yes.
Because it's not like you're just running around like a crazy person.
Yeah. It's not like multiple personalities.
No.
It's more like just a different facet.
You're
of your...
rocking the beat. You're executing like technical stuff all at the same time. Do you know? It's not like you're acting on a stage. Like you're running moves, but you're not just running moves. Do you know what I mean? Like everything comes together, and that again, I can't do that. I wouldn't even pretend to because that's not how I, you know, approach this dance, or that's not how I behave as an individual. Do you know what I mean? So if I tried to take on that personality, do you know what I mean, or you know, if I tried to use that as a battle strategy to, like, I don't know, go against a guy such as yourself, I'd get smoked because, you know, I'm lying.
Word.
You know,
You're faking the fun.
Exactly, and when someone's lying, and they're blatantly lying, you can see straight through it. Yeah. You can read between the lines. It's like, he ain't being himself.
Yeah.
So it ain't hard to tell sometimes. Yeah. You know, when someone is comfortable in their own skin as a b-boy. So that's what I have to say about Originality.
Bro, you know what's crazy, man? And maybe we should wrap it up because we're hitting the half an hour mark here. Fucking 5 second, 10 second, fucking minute and a half, fucking attention capacity, fucking lacking cunts out there. No, just kidding. I'm the same. Cheers to that though, you know, like, you know, maintaining sort of concentration in any moment, you know.
At training, put your phone away.
Yeah.
Myself included.
Yeah.
When you train, or even if you're just vibing out at home, do yourself a favour, at least for half the time, put the phone away.
Put the phone away.
Because when you get on, so this is one other thing I want to say about creativity. Because creativity and originality and personality, they're all commensurate. They all go hand in hand.
Say, I think I know what you're about to talk about.
So, when you're on your phone just scrolling through whatever, YouTube videos, your social media feed, or whatever, if you're fatigued, bored, or demotivated, what's your brain doing? Okay, I'm going to speak from experience, not much. It's mind-numbing. It's like, you know, reading trashy magazines or watching some stupid movie just so you can switch your brain off and just veg out. Now, we all do it. We're all guilty of it, yeah. But, like, if you do that at training or when you're just getting down or wherever, you're, at that moment in time, I believe, really damaging your creativity because you're switching off your mind, okay? Now, your mind's not going to completely switch off, but you're really repressing a lot of the networks in your mind that are associated with, you know, intricate thought and this, that, and the other. And I also believe that, let's just say you're going to have a session, do you know what I mean? You're hooking up with your boys, you're going to a training spot, and beforehand you've been sitting on freaking social media for 1-2 hours just doing nothing, just vegging out. And, you know, nowadays, like, you know, events are live streamed, there's footage everywhere, you know. I'm going to sound like an old school F-word here, but, you know, when I first started, You know, we all say it, but like we had to kind of like scratch around for VHS tapes, you know, bootlegged, and you'd only hear like, I remember B-Boy Red would like rock up to train and be like, yo man, like Crumbs, like he's doing this now and he's doing that now.
Yeah.
You know, like there was like this intrigue. You'd only imagine like what the sick B-Boys were doing, and now everything's like live stream.
Yes.
And it is what it is, and it's all good, and I'm not complaining. But we're oversaturated, overstimulated, and then if you expose yourself to that chronically, you go to training, and I honestly believe that subconsciously you start to project what you've been exposed to.
Exactly. So let's
I was just going to finish. It's like sometimes you dream
Yes.
what you see during the day, and you have no control over that.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And then that will come out in what you're training.
That's exactly.
And whether you like it or not,
exactly.
you ain't tapping into your own creative resources.
That's exactly
and
it.
It's dangerous.
It's very dangerous.
And look, we all do it.
We all do it. Yeah, I'm guilty of that, you know. But let me just reiterate before we wrap up, yeah? Let's reiterate two things, yeah? One of those things is if you're vegging out on your phone, watching other dancers, then when you go throw down, within like an hour or less even, like time frame after watching somebody else, that's going to probably quite naturally come out subconscious from your subconscious.
You're projecting your subconscious.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's exactly what I'm saying. You're projecting your subconscious. You may not be deliberately ripping someone or mimicking their style, but you have infused that imagery into your brain whether you like it or not, okay? And all movement starts up here, okay? This is our central command center. And the imagery will be transmitted to the tissues that are going to move you, and whether you like it or not, okay, some of what you've seen is going to come out, and I think it's important that you can identify that. Because, put it this way, you go to another country, and you begin to speak their language. If they speak the same language, you begin to take on the accent. And you may not even be doing that deliberately.
You're right.
You know, you come home from America after being there for 5 years, chances are you've got a little bit of a tinge, you know what I mean? And
it's not a complete.
You're trying to sound as Aussie as you can, you know what I mean? But you can't help it because, put it this way, at my work, you know, the way that I speak is a lot different to how I would communicate with you.
Between us, exactly.
And I'm not fronting. It's just, I'm not going to, you know, engage in this kind of discussion or, you know, this narrative in my working environment. Right? So, I honestly believe that if you expose yourself for too long to other dancers, especially on social media, it will be projected. It's not like you're training with your boys, do you know what I mean? And you like see, you know, your crewmate do a move and you're like, you know what, I can do this my way, I can flip it. That's different because you're building, you know... You've got a rapport together, a relationship. One another, and that's different.
And then you build up,
you know, shout outs to Yogi. We used to train a lot together when he was living here in Melbourne. And Yogi doesn't break anything like me. You know, there's a lot of power. My power is terrible, man. And he would like do these like transition. I'm like, you know what? Like, I've got an idea. I'm gonna take that, but I'm gonna consume it and then spit it out my way. You know what I mean? Like, I've got my way of expressing that because you've just given me an idea. And that's precisely what inspiration is. Like, you get ideas, okay? And ideas can come from anywhere and anything. Like, freaking cartoons, movies, buildings, whatever.
Whatever triggers your actual imagination.
Exactly. Not just being a consumer of technology.
And just chomping that shit. And I guess then this is how we'll wrap it up. How would any of this make sense to the next generation of B-boys and B-girls if they are not subscribed to the culture and the etiquette of hip-hop?
It's their loss.
Because this code, this sort of this law of the land doesn't exist if you're b-boy.
It's like an unwritten law, isn't it?
If you don't have any understanding of hip-hopisms. But then, you know, how
But
hard...
look, I mean, maybe they're just kids. Like, I was stubborn as a child. I was stupid. I was arrogant, ignorant, you name it. Do you know what I mean? And I wasn't subscribing to these principles. And I was getting dissed for it, and I was too pig-headed to realise. But if you love this art form, if you love breaking, if you love the culture, and you're willing at some point to let go of your arrogance, do you know what I mean? Because that's like, kids can be like the worst. I was. But we mature. right?
Yes.
You'd like to think at some point we get over that through experiences. And that's when sometimes you got to come back around.
Yes.
Especially if you're a pig-headed idiot like me. I'll be like, you know what? I'm going to start again.
You're really self-deprecating, bro.
Nah, man, what's it's about? But what I'm saying is you got to keep humbling yourself. And that's where it's hard and breaking because, and I remember Johnny Yayo said this, like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but like, when we go and battle someone, like, we rock up to a jam, sometimes like dudes have got like their crew and their name on their shirt, we're there to freaking like get your respect taken from the other dude, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's about being fierce and like hyper aggressive and sometimes, it can be hyper masculine. But at the same time, you got to then bring it back and humble yourself and check yourself. So it's like this war that's going on, and I think that's the beauty of it because that's what battling is for.
Exactly.
That's why it's in place for all of those facets of your personality, your ego, your arrogance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Your pride. That's where it can come out. You can leave it there. You know.
It's a positive means to release negative things.
Yeah. But it's okay.
But it's
accepted.
accepted.
You can be a complete jerk so long as you don't cross that line when you battle, I think. And if that's who you are as a person, because, we've all got a bit of ugliness.
Oh, yeah.
Like I can be a colossal prick when I battle.
Yeah.
But at least I know I can leave it there, and I'd like to think I'm not going to cross that, that invisible line, where you start like just doing some nasty stuff.
Yes, exactly
I think there's a line that can be crossed,
That's it.
But you leave it there, and then you got to go back around and check yourself again.
That's exactly it, man.
So it's like bipolar culture, but I love it because it's like one extreme or the other.
That's exactly it. And I think it's healthy, especially when you think that when you realize that this is created by young men, like kids, right? That were either just about to or were experiencing puberty. You know what I mean? Like that's why we're b-boys, not b-men. You know what I mean? B-men complicates the purity of this art form. You know what I mean? And so, man, we could continue on, but like any last things, any last words, any last shout outs?
Look, shout out to Fresh Socks, Lamaroc, Mighty Zulu Kings, thanks for having me.
All good, bro. Thank you. We loved having you here. Thank you.
Shout out to my crews, Real Hardwork Crew,
Raw, what's up?
See you guys in Sydney soon. Monster, stop flaking out on me, brother. Come and see you.
So public, bro.
It's all good. I love it. Shout out to...
What old school fuck?
Shout out to 143.
143.
Liverpool Street.
Yep.
Join the gang, especially the originals. Love all of you. Peace.
Peace.